Hello, Fightful Faithful. Welcome to another episode of Sour Graps. I'm your host, Alex Pulowski. And yeah, everything sucks. I'm sorry. I'm not even letting you do the cutesy Tuesday intro thing. Everything sucks. Kate, I was
just waiting for you to say
I was actually excited to watch NXT this week because I was like, we got 4 women's matches that all promise to be really good with honestly, I don't know who wins a bunch of these. That's interesting to me. I was excited for that. I wanted to see that. I was excited for it. So I turn on my local affiliate for the CW network, and they have preempted it for a regular season WNBA game between the 4-7 Washington Mystics and the 3-7 Chicago Sky. That is the only access I have to the CW network, is the local affiliate out of Freeport, Illinois. That's all I got. I have no other way of doing it. Now, apparently, I just have to do NordVPN. Well, there you go. You got me. You got me, because if they're going to preempt my NXT for random WNBA games, well, then, apparently, then my hand's been forced. But however, little did I know that the NXT that I was excited to watch would have ended up being one of the dumbest episodes they've put together in the last couple of years. I know, because I somehow cannot quit this terrible thing, and I paid attention to all of the segments on Twitter. So I would know all the dumb decisions that were being made, all the ridiculous backstage segments that were being aired. I could see all of those on Twitter. So no, I was unable to. I was given a gift. Here, take the night off. Take 2 hours for yourself and not pay attention to NXT. But I just couldn't do it, Kate. And what was I rewarded with? Whatever the heck this was. It's Tuesday. NXT review for June 17th. Get in your super chats and humper chats. I'm angry about stuff.
Well, I guess I'll just piss right off then, Alex, if you're just going to tell everybody that it's June 17th and that this is the NXT Sour Grabs post show and to get in their super chats and humper chats at humperchats.com. Why don't you just tell the good people all about Fightful Select too, where we had more Gladiators?
No, I'll leave that to you.
Man, this was, I'm just gonna say it, not great. This was not a great episode of NXT. There's part of me that sees or feels like I see the aim of something they're trying to accomplish, of elevating some of the women that they need to get cooking if this division is going to get cut, like the way it did by everybody getting called up. Yeah. So there's things about it that I understand. There are a lot of negatives to some of the things that happened on the show today as well. They've completely just ruined the family. This whole story. But Alex, I was sitting there. You told me about you getting bumped by the WNBA. And obviously there's so many reasons you should have NordVPN, including situations just like this.
Just like this, yes.
But I was like, well, at least Alex isn't watching this Chase U segment. And you were like, Kate, I can't put it down. Like I had to watch it still.
I couldn't extricate myself from it, Kate.
I'm concerned.
As your friend. I am in somehow an emotionally abusive throuple between myself, NXT, and myself. Like, I can't. I mean, like, there's another version of me. I want to get out, but this other version of me has to stay with NXT, and I feel bad for the other version of me, so I stay to make sure nothing bad happens to him. You understand? This is really sad for me.
I thought you were going to say between the wonderful people of Fightful and I can't quit them. I thought you were going to say a throuple with the great people that tune in to watch us every week. But you said, no, this alternate version of me, which is so much better, honestly, because it is accurate in that way. Uh, I feel like there are things I understand of, like, for example, you have Izzy Dame. She has found a character within the calling. You have to choose to start elevating these people at some point, but you can do so with, things that are good. The other aspect of it is there are things that you should just be doing better. Noam Dar not being on my television since he came back right after WrestleMania. That's nonsense. Not when we were waiting for so long. Like that's a load of crap.
No.
And then he's coming back to Luca Crucifino. Like there are things that are very much in their control that they could be doing a lot better at as well. And I'm so tired of saying this. I don't like to call for people's jobs, but Def Rebel has to do a better job. Like, what the trash heap did they do to Jordan Grace's theme? We're going to talk about it all, guys. We're going to talk about it all. This, unfortunately, was not what I was hoping for from this episode. And even the Blake Monroe contract signing, man, I didn't feel like it was a good introduction to who she was. I felt like it was a weird path to choose when there isn't an imminent match to make her look bad at the end of this. Like I didn't like it. I didn't like it. But anyway, back to you.
Back to me. So I didn't see I'm watching actually the match right now because they decided to put it on after the WNBA game. But Thea Hale and Jada Parker. Oh my gosh,
we could do a retroactive. You're already mad about this episode watch along.
Yeah. So yeah, I hated the end of this first match. I understand, like, people who were like, "Oh, it makes Jada Parker smart." Buries the ref. That's the most important thing to me. So the match is Thea Hale keeps putting the Kimura on Jada Parker, who already injured her arm running into the steps. And she just keeps putting it on her over and over again. And then finally she goes down to one knee and she taps out on Thea Hale's thigh. But the ref doesn't see it because the ref's out of position. Where did he think he was going to see a tap? She's only got two arms. One of them is in a Kimura. She can't tap with that arm. If she's in a Kimura, you need to be on the side of her where you can see the arm she can tap with. Otherwise, you have no idea whether or not she is tapping. It makes the ref look like an absolute moron, like he is terrible at his job. Like, if kayfabe were real, I should never see him on TV again. That's how bad he messed up his job. Why would you bury the ref like that? And then Thea Hale gets tapped on the thigh, and then she's celebrating to the referee, who says quite plainly to her, "I didn't see it." And Thea Hale says again, "But she tapped." And he says, "I didn't see it." At that point, you need to be ready for anything, Thea Hale. If you don't hear the ding, 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 and your music start playing, you didn't win the match. So instead of a running butt to the face, we got a running butt to the shoulder blade, which knocked Thea Hale to out. If you're going to do a running butt to the face, you got to do a running butt to the face. You can't do a running butt to the shoulder blade because that ain't going to work. This was terrible. It made Thea Hale look dumb. It made Jada look cagey, kind of, but it made the ref look like an absolute moron worthy of being fired if kayfabe were real life. Don't do these kinds of finishes.
I feel like we do have to find a pun theme.
How about pop stars? Because Blake Monroe's character is so obviously a complete and total 100% ripoff of Sabrina Carpenter. Let's just do pop stars.
With the Z. Pop Star with Andy Samberg, of course, a much better movie than the one that we were forced to review. I I feel like in both WWE and AEW, and I do have my Taz shirt on, so I'm gonna just be throwing the word Jones into a lot of my sentences today.
Okay, good.
I feel like the protected finish Joneses of both WWE and AEW need to do a deeper dive into what a protected finish is, because I get that this is better than making talent look dumb to make your ref look dumb. I understand that. Or at least, like, I can at least with something like this draw the parallel of a lot of times umpires who sometimes good umpires are at a position and they screw up calls. Like, I can at least draw that parallel. But because in wrestling, referees have to kind of work to be out of position, you know what I mean? Like, if an umpire in baseball is out of position to see a call at the base, it's because the ground ball got hit to somewhere that was not like somewhere that would put the umpire in a position where they could make the call. In wrestling, you can see a submission and you can adjust. So I feel like there's got to be better ways to do this. And I also feel like I get that they need to protect Thea because she's actually taken some L's since she's been back, and she came back with a lot of gusto.
It doesn't protect her to me. It doesn't protect her. Makes her look dumb to not recognize that she didn't win the match. Maybe it's been such a long time since you won a match, she doesn't know that the bell rings and your music plays. Maybe it's been a long time. She doesn't recognize it. It's been such a long time since you won anything.
And I know you were also on the side of not liking the tap twice, not three times tap out. Yeah. And some people liked that because in UFC, that's a thing that people genuinely do as
it's the only time I've seen it in wrestling. They haven't done it since it was years ago. If that's a thing, then you need to make your audience aware that that's a thing that happens sometimes in WWE, and it's only happened the one time in all the years I've been watching.
Out of it. That's on you.
That's my good. I did something good then.
So I agree with you. They could have done a better job here. I also feel like Jada, there's a lot of, we talked about this yesterday on the Raw review, and I'm not gonna lie, like, it was probably pretty obvious. I know it was obvious to you. I'm sure it was obvious to the people watching. I had a hard time, like, being up for yesterday's Raw review because it was just uninspired television. And but we talked about this. There's a lot of butt-centric offense right now. Like, a lot. And Jada Parker's a better wrestler than only a butt to the face. As a setup move, fine.
She's really strong.
She's super strong.
She's
like,
really
underrated,
strong.
actually, in her strength.
Like, I don't feel like I'm just saying as an option. It's a move that you see somebody else on the other program do with a lot of effect. But something like the Doctor Bomb would look great with Jada Parker doing it.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Like a gut wrench, big time power bomb. Like, that would look great. Again, I keep saying no women are using the choke slam. The big women that they have in WWE aren't using the chokes. Give one of them the choke slam. Give Lash Legend the choke slam. Give her the choke slam. I think it would be great for her. Or like a serious power bomb finisher. Like a big time old Sid Vicious style power bomb from one of these taller big ladies. That would work a lot. But
I feel like with her too, there's probably some cool, like, one of the things that I liked about the updated version of Nia Jax was like the power submissions they gave her. I feel like Jada Parker doing, if you're insistent on keeping the butt to the face, it's not a hip check because it's not in the corner. It's a butt to the face. If you're insistent on keeping that, knocking someone loopy and then putting them in a submission, I actually think is a really underrated tandem because everybody gets so into the idea of like the finish him, right? Like, you knock someone loopy and then you top them off with something, which is fair. But like, knocking someone loopy and then putting them in a submission so that they don't know where they are and have no choice but to be done is like also a very fair and underrated approach, in my opinion. So
hey, if Asuka's not going to use the crossface chicken wing anymore, give that to Jada Parker. You know what I mean?
I'm not giving up on Asuka using that.
No,
I'm
no,
hoping
now
it
she
comes
does her own
back.
butt to the face. They gave it a
Of course.
name now. The Empress Impact. So now it's got a name. So you know she's going to be using that from now on.
The Emperor's Impact is such a like, that doesn't sound like a finishing move.
Ryan Chickini says Lash was using a chokeslam for a bit. She was as a transitional move within a match. That should finish women.
Yeah, I agree with that. A chokeslam should be a
chokeslam from a woman the size of Lash Legend, dropping them from that height should finish the women that she faces.
I agree with that. I agree with that entirely.
So yes, Jada Parker won, and I guess she looks cagey, but everybody else in the match involved, including the referee, especially the referee, looks really bad. So you protect one person by making the other two not look good.
That's my thing, is the what they view as protected finishes in wrestling a lot of times, especially on American television. I think New Japan's usually pretty good at it. Is what one person has to look dumb in the process. I keep going back to it because it stuck out in my mind so much. Like, two of them. Remember when Jay White first came back from injury and had that great match against Hangman and just countered his finisher in a really cool way? Like, to me, that's a great finish because it's just someone being cagey but being smart and like just got the better of the other person. And this is Evolution Eliminator matches. Like, someone can just get the better. And I always go back to, because I was like, how haven't I seen more of this? Danielson and Dax. When Danielson had Dax in the Umaplata and he just didn't know where the ropes were because his eyes were covered. He's trying to reach for the ropes. To me, that's a protected finish because he was just in a situation where there was nothing he could do. Like, there was no way to break that hold. Like, it's not a super protected finish,
right,
but it doesn't make Dax look like a dumb wrestler because he looks super just like there is no possible wrestling move that he could think of and nothing he could do better to get out of that situation. I consider that protected because it doesn't make Dax look weak or dumb at all in that situation. So I would like to see much more of that type of finish on wrestling television in general, man. We've gone so in WWE, it's like this was refreshing because it wasn't a DQ compared to last night. Like, wow, they did a tournament where 5 of the 8 matches don't have interference. Good for you, NXT.
Yeah. So Briggs and Inamura are like, we can't wait to beat up these guys. Nobody likes First Class. We will beat them. And they're disrespecting TNA by teaming with Trick. So Hank and Tank is like, hey, after you're done with this match, we will give you a tag team title shot. And then Oba walks in, and they're like, wow, that was a heck of a match last week. And he says, yes, he was certainly the biggest man I have ever faced, but I beat him. And then he goes to leave, and there's Trick, and they're like, champ. And then Hank and Tank goes, that was weird. And I was like, I don't know, honestly, I kind of like the two guys being civil, recognizing they're each champs and it's not done between them. That was the best part of this entire weird backstage segment. The non-weirdest part was the part that Hank and Tank were like, whoa. So, yeah.
Weird is a good word. All the backstages tonight felt like a regression from a lot of the backstages that we usually get.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Oba says I got my money on the good guys to beat you. Like, well, then you can be one broke ass champ. Champ, says Trick. And then
Champ kind.
and then later, Trick was proven wrong in the dumbest way possible. So we will talk because they picked the dumbest ways of doing things in this particular episode.
Do we think we're still eventually getting a Trick and Oba program? Is this just their way of letting us know? Like,
after Trick loses the title to Santana, I still assume. I think at that
I think so too.
Have Trick have one last match versus Oba 1-on-1 where he loses and then moves up. And if talk about it later. If he can make amends with a certain person on this show, he could certainly make amends with Carmelo.
Sure.
And I think with Trick where he is now, the pairing of Trick and Mello on the main roster would be gangbusters. Back when Trick and Mello were together, Trick was obviously the dude who just ran his mouth but couldn't back it up in the ring because he was so inexperienced. Now he actually can go to the point where you can actually utilize him in that role as opposed to just the hype man. I think the two of them together would be a really, really good alliance. Not necessarily a tag team, but a better alliance for Carmelo Hayes than the friggin' Miz.
Well, too, like well, shout out honestly to me for just completely being wrong on Friday. I I mentioned this yesterday, but on the SmackDown post show, I just went off about how I could not believe that they pinned Carmelo in this 4-way and he took another loss. LA Knight took the pin. I'm so disappointed by the Cena heel run for a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons is like they just aren't even trying with anybody under 35 on the main roster outside of Braun Breaker, and John Cena's not going to face him. And like Carmelo, to me, when you and I were watching NXT through the worst of times, the 2.0 era, what we were able to say was like Braun Breaker's going to be a star, Carmelo's going to be a star. Mm-hmm. They realized that about Braun Breaker. I don't know why they haven't given a single shit about Carmelo Hayes. But if I won't give up on that idea because I've seen it from him and I see it in him. And when he actually gets opportunities in there, it's kind of like Ivy Nile. I'm like, every time these people wrestle, they're over in some way. They're getting reactions. Mm-hmm. They show that they're great, and then you just don't do anything with them. So if there's I like the idea of an alliance with Trick still more than I like the idea of them as a tag team, even though the SmackDown tag division has some heat to it. But like, because they're complicated history, I don't know. Something about an alliance feels right. But also, Trick is better in ring than people give him credit for.
Yeah.
So there.
There was another Blake Monroe. Because I'm not calling Mariah May. She's not that anymore. The Blake Monroe character they've created for her, this thing that like I don't follow the circles of the internet that would lead me to Sabrina Carpenter. I had heard the name, but could not name you a single song that she did prior to tonight. Didn't know anything about her. There was some controversy that she was too risque in her live shows or whatever. I don't care. I don't watch that. I don't listen to that music. I don't care. After the show last week, I was like, oh, last week I was like, this reminds me of this weird Bewitched thing. You know, so it's Bewitched. It looks like the cartoon from the old 60s. Oh, it feels like the 1960s. No, they just straight up stole that shit from Sabrina Carpenter. Like stole it verbatim.
That was what I had realized. So I picked up on the Because I knew at every Sabrina Carpenter show, she does like the towel reveal thing to reveal whatever sparkly lingerie outfit she has on. And I caught that part in real time because Mariah or Blake Monroe did the reveal. And I was like, oh, Sabrina Carpenter inspired. I'd never had seen the one-to-one video that they like kind of knocked
in
off,
the bathtub, listening to the narrator, reacting to it.
Even the narrator having like a light sarcasm, like even the type of narration that it was,
right? Like that was a 1-to-1 comparison.
It was. It's so hard because everybody has their own lines about this, but like inspired versus just ripped off can get muddy sometimes. After seeing the Sabrina Carpenter thing, I was like, oh, this is just straight ripped off. Like this did not feel inspired by it anymore.
No, just felt like this is the I don't know, man. Like this feels like it's only a matter of time before Sabrina Carpenter's lawyers file something. You know what I mean?
I didn't know until Sabrina Carpenter's performing live on WWE programming. One or the other.
I mean, she's selling out giant arenas. She's not doing.
Hey, so is Bad Bunny, but I mean, honestly, the big tell is that
Bad Bunny always wanted to be a wrestler. I don't think Sabrina Carpenter always wanted to be a wrestler.
There is footage of Sabrina Carpenter in a Young Bucks shirt. So if anything, she's probably a pro AEW stan.
Oh my god. Yeah.
How funny would that be if Sabrina Carpenter came out as an AEW tribalist?
Oh my god.
I will say this. Funny. If they started with that Sabrina Carpenter one and are at least carrying through with more vignettes like this, like they're gonna have to continue in a style but create original content with it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like they'll have to work within this niche, but unless she's just gonna perform a Sabrina Carpenter set, I don't think they'll have any choice. And it's cutesy, and I think it works for her. But when I saw that video, I was like, oh, I didn't realize it was like that much, like that much of a one-to-one copy.
Anyway, this vignette from today also is the same thing. It's the same thing. It's all of that as well. So this our second women's match of the night. Kelani, Jordynne, and Lash Legend. Did not see a lot of this. Just the finish, which. I mean, if you're rooting for Lash Legend, I don't think there's a better way of getting this. 450 knees up into finisher is one of the stock ends of matches. You know what I mean? A guy goes up to do a thing from the top rope. That's why they call it high risk. And then the knees up directly into the finisher of the other person is just something you see so often. It just your eyes just roll back in your head. Like it's just a thing. Like the rest of the match that I saw seemed actually inspired, and they were trying some stuff out. But the finish is just such an obvious. I'll just click on that, and we'll just do that one.
There were some moments in here. I think Lash had gotten really comfortable as a tag wrestler, and I think there's just she hasn't had a lot of reps since they took Jakara away, and I think she's still kind of just reacclimating to being a singles wrestler again. So there were some spots in here that were a little bit clunkier and a little bit slower, but it was decent enough. I feel like there's this thing in WWE right now, though, because there was a lot of rooting for Kehlani, who's a heel, and I'm someone who if you root for a heel initially and then play along, that's what I am doing the Adam Cole stuff at home, whether he's a face or a heel. I don't mind that. There's a ton of it in WWE right now. And I like Shades of Grey, and I like people just rooting for their favorites. But people are just rooting for Seth Rollins' faction because it's cool. Braun and Bronson looking cool in suits, doing awesome stuff in the ring. It's cool. People get to sing along to Seth's music. People are still rooting for John Cena because it's a John Cena retirement tour. And he, as a face, is pointing out that CM Punk is a giant hypocrite, which is, or as a heel is pointing that out, which is face behavior. So, like, I don't mind mixed reactions, but they're getting them. I mind when it's more often than not, or almost a 50-50 split. Like, it's happening, maybe not a 50-50 split, but it's happening a lot. Like, I feel like that needs to be reserved for specifically extremely cool heels. And not that Kehlani's not that, but, like, she's a defined enough heel that people should be booing for her. I think today, because of who her opponent was, she had no choice but for her in-ring to be stuff that's going to get her over as a face, almost like, because she's going up against Lash, who is strong and powerful. She kind of has to go back a little bit more, leaning toward the gymnastics mode stuff, which is genuinely just really cool and impressive and fun to watch. So, but they got to start getting a hold on that. It bugs me more on the main roster than in a tournament match, because that's fine. And people like to root for Kehlani. I get it. But they got to get a hold on that in some way, not with fake crowd noise, but with better writing and direction for your characters. Cause it's starting to get distracting of, like, you're eliciting I know the golden rule is, like, you have to elicit any reaction, but they're eliciting reverse reactions pretty frequently at this point. Like, I don't know if Gunther is going to be getting booed against Goldberg. You know what I mean? Like, this is tough.
Yeah. I don't know. I honestly don't know. Going back a little bit from Tim. Alex, if you're in a thruple Jones with NXT, does that make AEW your Hall Pass Jones?
It's a good question.
I suppose it would have to be. Alpha Bill says, Happy National Apple Strudel Day.
Happy National Apple Strudel Day.
I did not realize there was such a date commemorating apple strudel.
It deserves it, honestly. Justified, it deserves it, Chance.
Meat Enormous says, Alex, breathe, have some lemonade, bruv. Don't mind if I do.
Well, while you're sipping your lemonade, I'll read this chat from my dad, who says, Greetings, SGS. The last show before the start of the summer, when everything will suck hotter and with more humidity. Who keeps things cool? JW Pringle. I added the wink and a gun, but I feel like JW Pringle deserves it.
That's good. Very good. I like that a lot. So Lash Legend wins with her backpack facebuster, which works 65% of the time. And when it does it biffs it hard. It did.
It's one of those moves. It's one of those.
Last week it biffed it hard. This week it looked really good. So I still say just give her a big choke slam. That's a very easy way of getting what you need to get out of this. But other than
if I looked like Lash Legends, I would have 5 finishers, and they would all be some form of dropping, chucking, whatevering the heck out of women. Like, Lash is one of those people who should be able to finish you in 3 to 5 different ways, in my opinion. I do like this when she hits it, but you're right, there are consistency issues with it. She's someone that they just, again, reps. Like, she just needs more reps. So, there you go.
Yeah. Jambeard says, give Big Ange the jackknife powerbomb. Speaking of Big Ange, she wasn't on this segment. Thank God she didn't have this stink on her from this segment with Tony D'Angelo, who calls out Luca to the ring and asks him the same question twice. What happened with you in the desert? Tony, I told you, some guys blindfolded me and threw me in a truck, and then they in the trunk of a car, and they drove around for a long time, and I don't even know where they took me, and then they let me out. Yeah, but what happened? Okay. So what did Stacks tell you? I mean, he but I and then Tony D. Listen, this is the problem I have with this. They are in so many ways making him look worse incrementally with every segment since Stacks turned on him.
They've made him look dumb.
Tony D like can't recognize, like it's this whole, they're making everybody look dumb because it just get to the part where Luca turns on him and reveals it was part of the Stacks thing all along. If not, this is the dumbest way of doing any of this you could possibly do. But this whole thing of like Stacks comes out, Tony D, you were the boss of the family D'Angelo for 4 years. You couldn't get a single mook under the age of 55 years old who knows how to use a razor and doesn't wear a fedora. Tony, like Stacks has become the new razor. The new leader of of this family, and he immediately has mooks. He has a bunch of dudes in their 20s wearing white t-shirts and black jeans and gold watches, and he's immediately got mooks. Why couldn't I swear to God, you can go to an Olive Garden in Orlando and the mooks are hanging from the ceiling. They're everywhere. What are we doing, Tony D? You couldn't find a single mook, and all of a sudden Stacks he's dripping with mooks. Come on, man. He's got Goombas. He's got so anyway, he comes out dressed like miniature Italian Solo Sikoa, and in his red leather suit that he wears with his gloves and he's like, Luca, Tony doesn't believe you. Have I ever showed you disloyalty? And then Luca's like, listen, I have no doubt he's a fantastic lawyer, but he's not a great actor, Luca Crucifino. So I think he's trying to like do like, you can't read me. I have a really good poker face, so you don't know if I'm actually on Tony D's side or on Stax's side. But what I'm looking at is a dude with a blank face who's not modulating his voice at all. And it's kind of sad.
He's got to I'm gonna need Luca Crucifino to just sit and watch 40 hours straight of Law and Order SVU so that he can get some of this down. Because first of all, you have Carisi right there. Fantastic to draw from. Detective I'm sorry. What is he? A DA, Barba. Like, you have these archetypes going around. And you're right, like it's not just we've been talking about the lack of an accent for a while because it's Tony D's got it down and locked in so good. And Luca just sounds like a guy, but the performance isn't there, and he's not being given the greatest stuff anyway. But we need more from him. Even if you're playing the straight-laced guy, you still have to play the like locked up poker face guy. You still have to be covering something up with your performance, right? And you can go back years, Alex. Years, I say, of our reviews. And we've been calling on Tony D to get more underlings for a while. Tony D, we have had your back, man. We've been rooting for you. But you gotta look, it's fallen on deaf ears. This is on Tony, but the slow burning of this breakup has just been bad. It's just been bad.
Then the mooks get in the ring to attack Tony, and he's like, "You son of a bitch," to Luca, because he still doesn't trust Luca. But then he fights off the goons, the mooks, the Goombas. He fights them off with Luca until Stacks gets in the ring, and Tony's going to fight Stacks, but then Luca takes a swing at Tony. Luca takes a swing at Stacks, but Stacks ducks, and he hits Tony. It is very obvious that he was swinging to hit. Listen, if he had been standing there not doing anything, and then took a swing at Stacks, but hit Tony. Fine. But he was actively fighting off all of Stacks' Goombas.
Yeah.
So at that point, when he takes a swing at the back of Stacks' head and Stacks ducks and he hits Tony D, it's obvious to us what has happened. Why is it not obvious to Tony D what has happened? Unless you are making him out to be a dum-dum. Don't do that. Don't make him a dum-dum.
It's also just like, how many times are we gonna run this play of the did I accidentally? It's rampant. It's rampant. It's been rampant since the bloodline. Like, this is not that different than did I accidentally hit somebody that's supposed to be on my side. Like, this is the same. It's the same play.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be taking this long to break up. It's a mob family. Yeah. Like, I wouldn't fancy myself familiar with the mob. But from my understanding, I don't think there's like a lot of hearing people out in the relationships that they have. And also, where is Big Ange? Or who we call Big Ange affectionately.
She's still in the safe house?
But wasn't it not a safe house? Well, did they find that it was unsafe?
It's unsafe because Stacks knew where that safe house was. So I'm assuming then Tony moved her to a different safe house that Stacks doesn't know the location of. Right. But I mean, like, when we eventually get a conclusion of this storyline sometime next year, perhaps Big Ange will appear in that segment.
Speaking of lawyers, is Linda there? Can I talk to her? Because I need to know if she's heard something. I know it's kind of early, but...
Hello?
Hello? I need to ask if you've heard something.
Well, ask away.
Have you heard?
What?
That the Beast Mortos, who takes a lot of L's on AEW television, also has 2 other L's. One is for lawyer, because he's becoming one in a couple months, and another
becoming a lawyer. He's going to pass the bar exam.
Another is for love, because he's dating the Mercedes money.
Now. I have heard from the internet, which never tells me a lie, that she and Swerve were an item. Is that no longer the case, or was it never the case?
My guess is it was never the case, but she did,
because the internet was very, very insistent to me that Swerve and Mercedes Moné were an item. And if the internet was lying to me about that, I don't know what I can trust.
Well, did you ask Jeeves, or did you find from somewhere else? Because Jeeves is not a liar.
It was on the Facebook.
Oh, well, the Facebook, I don't know. But the Jeeves always knows. But she had said that she can't wait to sue everybody, which I think was in reference to that she's dating the Beast Mortos, who is becoming a lawyer.
Well, at least he'll be able to go to himself for his own prenup.
It's true. It's true. You could sort all of that out.
You could sort all of that out yourself with your own prenup that you could make. Because whenever a beast marries a lady, you should always get a prenup to make sure that one half of all your worldly goods inside the castle you reside in, it doesn't go to her whenever she breaks your heart and runs off with a knight in shining armor over there.
It's a very
who may or may not be named Swerve. I'm not giving up on this because I was shipping that.
There's so many ships.
I was shipping Swerve and Mercedes, and so
many people were.
I feel like maybe I was bamboozled.
I feel like many of us were duped.
I won't go so far as to say I was duped, but I do feel like I was bamboozled.
This is like that time with the Nigerian prince who emailed you. I think you were fooled. I think we all were.
I mean, listen. I mean, he's the prince. How could I not help him? It was a good deal. He said that if I just sent him $10,000, that he would give me $1 million. And I think that's a very good trade.
It is, but I'm starting to think he was not very well intending.
Well, this is the thing. I had not yet seen the movie Coming to America.
A very important documentary of
all these princes from over there on the African continent, they're not nearly as sweet as Eddie Murphy is over there.
No,
certainly
he was
just trying to find love with a girl who was the daughter of a McDonald's ripoff owner. But she was already betrothed to a man who wore Jerry curl. It's a very sad story. Tale as old as time, much like the Beauty and the Beast. Anyway, I gotta go.
There was a song called
Sweetheart, you know I love you. I'll tumble for you, but I gotta go.
We'll talk soon. Be good.
We'll talk tomorrow. Bye.
So, real talk, I've never seen it, but the word on the street is that Beast Mortos is like male model handsome, but you would never know it.
He's gorgeous.
Because he's always covered in this insane in-rig, which is awesome. He was also apparently a vet, I read. I don't know if that part's true. But like, all of her corgis are going to be taken care of. Any legal disputes. She's a wise woman.
Jambeard says AEW needs to do a YouTube show in style of BTE, but it stars Mortos. Call it Law and Love.
When somebody just goes, rawr, it's hard not to fall for that,
Give me a full courtroom scene. Where we have a different lawyer up there questioning a witness on the stand. And then after he's done, the judge says, Mr. Mortos, you're a witness. And he walks up and goes, and then like your closing argument. That'd be good, right?
I love it.
Okay, good.
But back to our other lawyer here. I gotta say,
Pringle says amazingly, Alex, Killer Kate, Papa Paul, Elizabeth, and all the SGS. Who's working and super sour about it? This guy. Thanks for the kind words, Papa Paul, and thanks for the wink and guns, sis.
Anytime. Alex, this segment with the family, it was kind of a snooze, to be honest. It kind of, honestly, put me to sleep.
Yeah.
And I might have missed this show if I was asleep on the right mattress.
Oh, yeah, of course.
If I was on a Helix Sleep mattress, you would have been doing this post-show alone, because I would have just fallen asleep from the segment and been snoozing until the morning. But why listen to me talk about it when Sean Ross Sapp, who has a Helix Sleep mattress and the code Fightful for you, can tell you all himself.
I want to tell you all about our friends over at helixsleep.com/Fightful. I've been using Helix since before there was a helixsleep.com/Fightful. A few years ago, I needed a new mattress because the one that I had just wasn't doing it for me. I wanted to invest in my sleep because that's ideally where you're spending at least a third of your life anyway. I found Helix, all their great reviews, and their online quiz that matched me up to the perfect mattress. And they had all kinds. They had ones for plus-size sleepers, ones that cool you down, ones that align your spine. They find what's perfect for you. And right now you get 27% off any purchase, plus 2 free dream pillows for a limited time using the code FIGHTFUL, plus a free bedding bundle with a Luxe or Elite mattress orders. That's a $330 plus value. I've got the Dusk Luxe. I'm on my second mattress, actually. I got another one for the guest room in my house. I felt very confident with that because there's a 100-night sleep trial. There's a limited lifetime warranty, shipped, assembled in the U.S. If for some reason you don't like it, they will come and pick it up for you. helixsleep.com/Fightful. Invest in your sleep. Invest in the mattress that is spoken highly about, not just by Fightful, by GQ, by Wired Magazine. Go check out all their options and match up with the perfect mattress for you.
Helix Mattress Jones over there. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Hey, since we are at our ad break,
Mm-hmm.
this very generous chat from Tim McFowle says, Fightful Select plug. Get the SGS Discord where Henry the Casey is bringing you live updates from Arena Mexico, where Bryan Danielson and Chris Hero are hanging out and Fletcher and Takeshita are being hot. Well, there you go. Henry the Casey, fantastic fella. Been around this chat many a time. A talented member of the media in his own right, not on the wrestling side as much as the tech side, but fantastic guy. I've gotten to meet him a couple of times, and he's wonderful, and he's helping us out there. He's doing great stuff. So I'm jealous that he's in Mexico. I hope he gets to like go to the beach and stuff while he's there. But some good stuff there. And yes, FightfulSelect.com. I think Sean said he's going to post a Britt Baker update as well. So I don't know when that's going up, but certainly something to look out for. Let me actually go on and check right now for you guys. But a lot of people have been asking about her because she's been inactive, and there's been so many people from AEW headed over to WWE. Feels like the pendulum swung the other way in that regard a little bit, but FightfulSelect.com, best $5.99 in the biz. Plenty over there, including me and Alex. Ranted and Raven about bad finishes.
Jamebeard says Smart Mark will play the other lawyer and Nyla Rose will play the judge in that video with Beast Mortos.
There you go.
Yeah.
Smart Mark retweeted our story about Beast Mortos becoming a lawyer and said, "Where's my story? Big deal. I've been a lawyer. Why am I still blurry? Stop it, camera.
Stop it, camera." Yes. So JW Pringle says Italian Solo is the new Gaspagool or Gabagool?
Ooh,
Gaspagool?
That's a good Gaspagool?
Gaspagool, or is that S just like a typo, or is it supposed to be Gabagool?
I don't know. I have questions.
I don't know,
I don't know, brother of mine, but I'll give you another wink and a gun.
I actually really enjoyed this next segment in the back where First Class comes in and AJ's like, so Casey's injured himself in training, and Trick's like, well, now what we're gonna do is like, and AJ, listen, everybody hates Top Dollar because he didn't do a dive right. He's really good. He's an incredibly natural speaker. He's a really, really good promo. And so him back, he's like, hey, don't worry about it. Listen, First Class doesn't create problems. We create solutions. Okay? So I figured I would find somebody who would step in for him, and it's Wes Lee. And Trick immediately is like, well, this isn't good. Years ago, we did not like each other. But we were on different sides of the card then. So I anticipate things might be the same now. And I liked that Trick was like, listen, that was my bad. I never should have done those things to you. Water under the bridge. Could we do that? Let's let bygones be bygones. And I liked that a lot, because you never see that with wrestlers actually on screen saying, I was wrong about this. Being the one, as opposed to, well, at the time, you were a heel and I was a face, but now we are both heels, so therefore we are just friends now. I like that it required Trick to actually be the bigger man and apologize for his role in stymieing Wesley's trip to the world title.
I thought this was the best backstage of the night by a mile. To your point with AJ Francis, Top Dollar.
Yeah.
Yeah, people don't like him because he messed up a move once, like 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. And he also talks a lot of shit on the internet. Which, if we had a problem with that, we would not be working for the person that we work for. But I also feel like people forget that he's a heel on the internet a lot of times. Yeah. But he's great. And also, he's right a lot of times with people that are jerks to him. Mm-hmm. So I like AJ. I haven't had a problem with AJ's approach to things at all. And I thought this whole backstage was actually really naturally done, especially in retrospect to everything else that was on the show. I loved him calling him first class trick. First class trick. I thought high class trick, first class trick.
First class trick.
Okay. First class trick, right? Okay.
It's not first rise and high class. It's it's high rise and first class.
Well, this is what happened last week. We got them.
It is.
But I thought that was cute, and I also felt like Trick came across extremely natural of the like heel that can take accountability to an extent for a moment. And I also like that he was like, I'm also cool with the rest of these guys. Like I've never had a problem with the rest of your faction either. So like, what do you say? We let bygones be bygones, I think is cool. And I'm glad that they're actually doing something with this group, and especially Wesley, because I really like Wesley's work quite a bit. So I'm with you, a much better backstage than most of the stuff that we got on this show, for sure.
Yeah. Well, speaking of terrible things that aren't in the ring, what was the point of all of the Chase U simping?
Dude, I know you hate Chase U, and I haven't liked it, but I've been trying to hang in there a little bit. And because my dear Duke was ever a part of it, I tried to find something. This is beyond irredeemable now.
No, yeah, but here's the thing: like your Duke is gone, and they have forgotten all about him.
I know, which means I will never forgive them.
Like, here's the thing that would be honestly, there would be a wonderful
really
touch. I know they would never do this because it calls attention to something. But what if in the single classroom in this college, over in the corner, there's a curio cabinet, and the curio cabinet is an MVP trophy, and from the top of the MVP trophy, hooked on top of it, is a red headband, and it's just there in the background. It's just there in the background, and they never mention it. But it's an homage to the guy who got them over when they were super under.
My sweet baby Duke, baby, he's like 6'5".
Like that, you could have done something, but they don't care about him, so you shouldn't care about them. Don't hold out hope. This is awful.
Well, I also like. It's just bad. Like it's so far beyond. Like at first I was like, what are they doing with this? And then week over week they've been like nothing good. So I have no choice but to. So I can't even let it play out because it's playing out and it's terrible.
He said the last we saw of Chase U stuff was he saying, you guys got to show up on time to class. And they said, you're right. We promise to be better human beings and come to class on time. And then that was like, okay, good. And then here they're in class on time. And Kale Dixon, the world's worst leafy green, is trying to ask a question, but he keeps getting steamrolled by Andre Chase until he finally just yells at him. And apparently the world's worst leafy green is not going to take that shit. He packs up his trapper keeper and he leaves. And his friend with the terrible mustache leaves and says, that's what a shame. And he leaves, and then Andre Chase curses again. He cursed a lot in this segment. So are we supposed to think that Andre Chase finally is the bad guy for yelling at his students, or are we supposed to think that the students are wimps because they can't take being yelled at? I honestly don't know what this is trying to say.
I don't understand what any of this has accomplished.
Why is this on television?
Yeah, I wish I could tell you. I wish I could tell you, man. It's rough. It's really rough because it just feels like recycled, but worse. Because I don't maybe they'll show us next week. Maybe they'll show us that Andre Chase has seen that he was being overly aggressive to his students and that it's his fault that they weren't accomplishing what they need to. I don't know where the hell it's going. But this road to get there has been exhaustive and largely a waste of the talent's time.
Speaking of wasting of time and talent, Ricky Saints apparently
what are we doing?
had Ricky Saints has a smashed trachea or something. I don't know. And Ethan Page now has fully joined forces with the new Evolve champion. What's his name? I don't really care. And also Swipe Right, the Vanity Project, as they are known when all three of them are together. Ricky Smokes, the dude with the hair, and also the new champion whose name I do not know, and do not tell me what it is. I don't care. Those three guys with Ethan Page honestly feel like a proper type of faction. But Ricky Saints comes in and is like, I'll be cleared next week. He actually says this, I'll be cleared next week, so I'm coming for you. And I'm like, how do you know you're going to be cleared next week? They told you that you not being able to say anything above a whisper would be all cleared up in the next 96 hours? Like, that's just a weird thing. And anyway, so then you gotta go through the Vanity Project if you want to go to get to Ethan Page. And I was like, oh, okay. So we're gonna get Ricky Saints running a gauntlet of the guy whose name I do not know and Swipe Right. And after he does that, he'll get the match with Ethan Page. And I was like, that makes sense. And then they were like, no, wait, things will make less sense. Because Ashanti the Adonis is sitting in the background. And he gets up and he's like, you just don't get it, Ricky Saints. The numbers game isn't in your favor. And by that time, all of the Vanity Project and Ethan Page have left. And Ricky Saints says, the numbers game isn't in your favor either. I'll be seeing you real soon. So wait, are we going to have to, does he have to fight Ashanti the Adonis first, then all three members of the Vanity Project, and then Ethan Page? What a colossal waste of time for Ricky Starks. Listen, Cody Rhodes is getting a rematch with John Cena sooner or later. He's going to need backup. We're going to, like, at this point, I think there's definitely a non-zero chance we get a Ricky Saints versus Travis Scott match on the main roster. Why are we wasting all of this time with him down here with the two guys from Swipe Right and a fella whose name I do not know? And also Ashanti the Adonis.
I do happen to know that the guy's name is Jackson Drake, and I'm sad that I do, because
I told you not to tell me.
I know, but I knew it, so I thought I would say it, and it bums me out, because if we didn't, like, there could be some really good put some respect on his name work being done in there. But it's Jackson Drake. This is actually mind-blowing to me. Like, this is the use of Ricky Saints that we're getting. I actually really like the idea of him and Ashanti. Like, I think that's a fun, because they feel like two different sides of the same coin in a sense of, like, super cool dude that is a face right now and guy that thinks he's super cool and is a heel right now. Like, they're not too far away. So I'm into that idea. But this is kind of like the Liv Morgan problem from yesterday of Liv being involved in a program with Io Sky, Liv being involved in a program with the Bellas, Liv being involved in a Judgment Day angle, and then she gets injured, and now you have so much work to do to work around that. I don't have a segue for the thing that we said yesterday, so I'm not going to do it. But, like, you have to now fill in all these gaps that you didn't have to. With Ricky Saints, expected to be cleared is just dumb. Like, just if he's going to be cleared, then just say he's cleared now. But the match is scheduled for next week. That was very, very weird.
Well, what match? I'm going to be cleared next week, so I'm coming for you. He wants Ethan Page in a title match. But it's going to be him versus Ashanti first, and then the Swipe Right guys who specifically said, you got to go through us if you want to go through him, which to me implies matches at least with one of the three of them, if not all of the three of them.
Sure.
So Ricky Saints eventually will get back to having a match with Ethan Page, but by that time, like, will it be too late for him to get the title back? And will him losing to Ethan Page be a foregone conclusion? Or is everybody wrong and there's no chance that he's coming to the main roster before WrestleMania next year?
I would guess this time of year, if you're not bringing him up for a SummerSlam program, there's no point in, like, just have him be a Royal Rumble surprise or whatever, I guess. But I feel like that's a waste of the time of someone who's in their mid-30s. I feel like I actually, the part of this that I do like is Ethan Page leading a faction called the Vanity Project and like being a faction leader. I actually like that quite a bit. The fact that they're spread out across different shows, I don't know if I like that yet or not, because we haven't seen it. Like, I'm not watching Evolve, but I don't know if I have to be in on this. You know what I mean? Like, I can watch Jackson Drake show up with the title on his shoulder and not have to watch Evolve to be up to speed on what's going on. So I don't think I hate it. So I do like that aspect of it. I don't like that baby faces just still never have friends in this company. It's weird. Ricky Saints is like very cool and showed up as a very big deal and pretty quickly won a title. You would think people would want to hang out with him. So we'll see if he gets any friends. I think he could do good work with some of these people, but it's weird to add this into the third match of a trilogy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, now I have all these friends all of a sudden on the third match of a trilogy is a very, very odd cadence to things. But this whole program's resetting. Like, NXT got so off course with releases and call-ups.
Yeah. Tavion Heights really wants to not be in North Quarter Catch Crew anymore. And I have a question. If he is also not in it, if he is not also, well, that's the second question. If he is also not in it, is No Quarter Catch Crew just a crew of two people? It's just Ren and Charlie Dempsey. There's no crew at that point. It's No Quarter Catch Tag. It's no quarter catch mix tag. That's what that is. There's nothing else you can do with that particular group at that point.
No quarter catch guys.
No quarter catch twosome. I don't know. Like, there's just no quarter catch pair. Like, I don't know what you do. Like, that's just break up the faction. Also, Tavion Heights.
No quarter catch couple. You can keep the initialism the same.
Oh, no quarter catch couple is very good. Yes. But I mean, they're not together.
No, but they're a couple of guys.
No, they're not. It's Ren and Charlie. That would be.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, duh. What am I saying? Yeah.
So that's weird. But anyway, Tavion, what kind of weird, like, Apple iTunes agreement did you sign with Charlie Dempsey where you didn't read the fine print and he owns your soul? Like, just leave the group. Why do you have to wait for Charlie Dempsey to tell you you're allowed to leave? I
don't know. Maybe he had to give notice. It's like there's an opt-out clause. It's a whole thing.
I just don't understand why he can't do it. But then Charlie wouldn't agree to a match between he and Tavion Heights. But not with that stipulation anyway. But so they're very angry at Charlie for that. But then Javon goes over to talk to Jasper Troy and says, "Hey, you did a really good job. You're going to be a champion in the future. Not before the young OG, though. Ha, ha, ha." And Jasper says, "Leave me alone. I have a very large chain around my neck."
Did you say that? I don't remember.
It's a direct quote. It's implied. Anytime you wear the giant chain like a feather boa, he was wearing a giant chain boa around his neck. Like, anytime you're doing that, it's implied that you're adding "I am wearing a giant chain boa" at the end of every sentence.
I must have missed that. Okay.
Yeah.
The more I learn. I learned
Yeah,
so much about fashion from you.
the more you know.
The more you know. Rainbow reading Jones over here. Reading Rainbow Jones over here. Yeah.
So then Charlie Dempsey, Javon goes back over to the first group of people who's talking to. And Charlie Dempsey's like, stop getting involved in all of this, Javon. You know what? If Tavion can have a match with you next week. And if he beats you, then he can leave the group. And I'm like, what?
Man, just
What?
let it go. You know what I mean?
Why? Like Javon Evans and Tavion Heights should do the finger poke of doom with Charlie Dempsey at ringside and let him like lose his mind over it. That's the one time that would actually work and be funny.
That would be very fun.
But
I'm not mad about that idea.
I don't want to see Javon Evans lose to Tavion Heights. No. When Javon Evans should be like a guy who rarely ever takes losses unless they are in a title match, because that's the point. He's young and he can't quite get over the hump, but one day he will. He shouldn't be taking random losses along the way. He should be getting mostly victories. Now, I also want to see Tavion Heights win because I want this faction to break up because I think it's outlived its usefulness in every possible way. I feel like Ren could do something else. I feel like instead of the other thing that we're gonna get to that made me lose my friggin' mind, instead of that person joining Soul and Zaria, Ren as their third friend makes a lot more sense. She's quirky, but she's not Lulu. You know what I mean? Like there's a different way of doing that, and I think she could add a lot to that dynamic if they're going to keep it together for longer than 5 minutes, which is up in the air at this point.
Yeah, when Ren first showed up, it was like she was all personality, but if she gets some reps under her, she might get like be a mega star. And they haven't really given her a fair shake, I feel like, on the wrestling side of things, because she's good when she wrestles, but she doesn't get nearly enough ring time as I feel like she should, considering how strong her personality is and how what a scene stealer she can be. Like I think she could do a lot of really productive work in the WWE style of doing things. So I would like to see her get put in meaningful stuff in the women's division instead of being like a mischief maker in the no quarter catch crew for the most part, because she doesn't really seem to be concerned with like title shots or matches of her own very much. Like it always seems to be involved with this angle, which is fine. Like sometimes you need that for certain angles, but when it feels like that's run its course, I want to see her be able to move on to something that's going to be productive for her, especially with the reshuffling that the women's division of NXT is going through. I think that could be better. But I also I want to leave the group. No, you have to stay angles don't really work anywhere but like New Japan, because they're only stables. I feel like for the most part, like pretty much everyone's in a faction over there. So there's actual intrigue with that. But it's always just like, why would you want someone in your stable who doesn't really want to be there?
I don't know.
I just maybe I have a healthier perspective of boundaries than people in wrestling.
I think that's very true. We have our 6-man tag. During which I didn't watch all of it, but AJ looked really good in. I loved him teasing the dive, but then not doing
so funny
to troll the crowd.
So good.
But yeah, incomprehensibly, Inamura pins Trick. What?
I guess he's getting a TNA title shot then. Like what?
But from what I understand, he's not getting it. Briggs is getting it.
Yeah, that's weird. That's a very weird thing.
What? I didn't see it, but from what I read, Briggs is getting the TNA title shot, but Inamura is the one who pinned him. Make that make sense, HBK.
Like
I don't understand.
I don't think he was. There wasn't a backstage where he said he gave it to him, was there?
Yeah,
Low key, I was walking the dog at this moment.
Trick, but
so.
Inamura says he's going after Oba, and Briggs is getting the title shot next week at Trick. How is that a thing that you decided was a good idea? I want you to diagram it for me, HBK. I want you to diagram it. How is that a thing that makes any sense whatsoever?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't have answers for you. There was. Okay. So I saw that there was interaction.
So wait,
Inamura gave it to Briggs because Inamura wants the NXT title. Well, then why wasn't he in contendership for that title?
I'm sorry. I'm going to be me about this. If that was your plan, HBK, for Inamura to go after Oba's title, why in the hell wouldn't you book Briggs to pin Trick? You choose that. You get to make that up. That's not a thing where where it happened and it was out of my control, and then we had to retcon it and rewrite it. You don't have to do that. You just have Briggs pin him and not Inamura.
That's it. I don't know. I don't know if Briggs is going to win Inamura an NXT title shot. I don't know what any of that is. I do know it's extremely silly.
I like Inamura a lot. You got to make it make sense before that. I don't care how much I like him. You got to make it make sense.
So
why does he get a shot at Oba? Because he wants one?
Beyond me. So I couldn't hear this because I had the volume down because I was walking the dog. But I saw that there was an interaction between the two of them. So there you go. But
I saw the interaction between them backstage. But it was he's like, I'm going for the and you're going to be the TNA champion, and I'm going. But remember, they were already given by the tag champs, who got nothing else to do, by the way. The tag champs who had an amazing story to become champions, and you've done with them since nothing. Well, the one thing you did do with them was you had them get pinned by Dork State, who's again apparently not a part of the show anymore. So you had them take a pin, but you're not building off of that. That doesn't have anything to do with what the tag champs are doing. The tag champs are like, hey, our friends, we would like to gift you a shot at the tag team titles. We talked to Ava. She doesn't give a shit about anything happening backstage. So we're gifting you a tag title shot. In the meantime, they went out and they decided of their own accord, we are going to have singles title shots now. And they get them.
Well, and
How does any of this make sense?
They didn't even have Inamura do an I cost us, because remember how guilty he was feeling about not winning the tag titles? He didn't even say I cost us last time, you get it this time. There wasn't even I don't get why you don't just have Briggs take the pin there, or get the pin rather.
That
makes no sense.
Pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Except for I don't understand why Inamura gets a title shot at Oba. Unless Oba's walking through the locker room and he says, hey, Oba, can I have a shot at that title? Yes. Sure, why not? And he just leaves because he doesn't give a damn who fights him. He'll beat anybody. I love that about
Put him
Oba.
in a four-way. That's all WWE does.
Put him in a four-way that
put him in a four-way. Have him win a four-way.
Put him in a four-way that ends with interference.
There you go.
That'll work.
Briggs costs someone so that he can win, and then they both go on to their title shots.
So friggin' dumb.
It's quite silly.
So Tony and Luca are arguing about whether or not Luca hit Tony on purpose. Luca says he didn't, and Tony says he did. And he's like, you saw that, right, Ava? You saw that. He hit me right in the face. You can tell how angry I am about this storyline because I'm not even doing Tony's voice.
I know. It's
It's really gotten under my skin with all of this. And Luca's like, no, I swear I didn't. And Tony's like, well, you know what? This will solve it. To prove that you're not working with him, I want a match with Luca versus Stax next week. And Ava says, I can't do that. Oh, I know why. Because you're working with him. You're working with Stax. No, I'm not working with him. I already gave him a match. Next week, he's facing Noam Dar for the Heritage Cup. Stax is. Why the hell would you do that? Well, the last guy that Stax pinned is a former Heritage Cup champion, which of course is Tony D. And it's like, and also Stax's consigliere already signed off on it. Oh, I get it. And Luca's like, Tony, I swear I don't know anything about this. So the way this is all put together is that Stax has a different consigliere than Tony does. And Luca has to be telling the truth for the story to make any sense.
Of course.
Luca is actually on Tony's side, but Tony will drive him into siding
into the arms of Stax.
Into Stax. Into siding with Stax. And who is, Kate, who is currently Stax's consigliere?
Big Ange.
Big Ange. Because, and here's the thing, Ava could have cleared all of this up because all she said is Stax's consigliere signed off on it. And Tony immediately says, oh, it was you, Luca. And Luca says, it wasn't me. And Ava can say, hold on, Tony, it wasn't him. Stax's consigliere isn't Luca. It's Ange.
It does
She
feel
could
like
clear all this
sometimes,
up, but she never does. It feels like Ava is addicted to drama. She's always booking the weirdest things to lead to more drama and then gets exasperated by it when it happens.
I mean, she is in her early to mid 20s, right?
I think it's got to be it. It's got to be it.
I mean, that's all I was.
Tim McFall says, I know I didn't watch, but this all sounds very convoluted for no reason. Bingo!
They do go out of their way. When NXT has bad episodes, it's usually because they did too much. They went way too far out of their way to make things more complicated than they had to. And with a mob angle, the thing is they're treating a mob family angle like it's the same as any other faction breakup, and it's just not. Like, you can't do the same stuff with a mob family that you do with any other stable. It's a different dynamic. So it's not great. Yeah, she's 23. No wonder she's addicted to drama and that exasperated by it. That's all I was doing.
So Sol and Zaria, they need to do a retake of a TikTok video because they messed it up the first time.
I almost barfed.
You turned them into the TikTok tag team. You've turned them into the TikTok. Sol Ruka, one of the most athletically gifted women you've ever employed. And Zelta Zaria Delta, who is a brilliant wrestler who you insist on not allowing to be. You've turned them into the new TikTok tag team. And then Tatum Paxley, like, she climbs out of a crate and follows them to the ring.
That part kind of ruled, honestly.
Okay. Well, no, it doesn't because of what it led to. Okay.
No, just the her crawling out of a crate part was great.
So Izzy Dame beats Zaria because Tatum Paxley sneaks up behind Sol Ruka and hugs her around the waist from behind. And Sol Ruka screams. And Zaria turns to look and see what happened. And then she turns around and walks directly into a sky-high power bomb from Izzy Dame and loses. And then backstage, she's really, really mad at Tatum Paxley. And Sol is on Tatum's side. She knows I know you didn't mean to do it. And then Izzy Dame walks up to Tatum and says, I told you they're not really your friends. If they really saw you as their friend, they'd put you in their TikToks. is a story being used in a wrestling show on television. If they really thought you were their friend, they would put you in their TikToks. But they don't, so you're not really their friend. I would never treat you that way, Tatum Paxley. And then Tatum Paxley follows Izzi Dame over to the Cullings clubhouse. And then there's more dissension between Zaria and Soruka.
Of all teams, this is the one that you do this with too. There's way too many. Like yesterday we saw you didn't text me back. And then today we saw you're not in my TikTok. Aren't you supposed to be isn't the beginning of Thea Hale's entrance, I'm a grown-ass woman or whatever? Aren't they all supposed to be grown-ass women at this point? What are we doing? Why do people that have a title give a shit about placating to people and their whose feelings get hurt because they didn't include them in a TikTok? Come on. What are we doing?
She did not say that. No, this all happened.
But
no effing way.
Narrator, but she did say that.
Yeah, she did say that. She absolutely did say that.
This is your fault for booking Judgment Good Day, Alpha Bill pointed out. And I think that's actually a fair point. You couldn't help yourself with Judgment Good Day. You were in stitches about the whole thing. You were bringing back Duke Hudson and Shane Hayes to be a part of it.
Duke Hudson and Shane Hayes with the paper plate mask.
Yeah.
And Grayson Waller.
Judgment Good Day.
And Delta would be in it, and Rhea Ripley would still be in it. She's the only one from the original Judgment Day who's allowed in it because she's from Australia. And Bronson Reed. And we'd hire back the Iconics.
It's entirely your fault that this is how Aussie wrestlers are getting treated. You went off the screen and back on the screen, and you were laughing the entire time at Judgment Good Day.
I did. It's the funniest.
You brought this on you.
Oh God, it's so good. I gotta figure out what episode what was and go back and listen to it and laugh again.
It was a good time. It was a good time.
Jambeard says, you didn't put me in your top 9 friends on MySpace, so now I hate you.
That's what this is. Like, you have a title. What are you doing? Stupid.
Speaking of what are we doing? Def Rebel still has a job. Why?
Bro, I don't call for people's jobs, but I don't know how much longer I can not call for their job. I want them to line up a different opportunity so that they're not unemployed, but they can't keep doing this job. This is horrendous. Like, do something other than 4-chord butt rock for literally any wrestler. It's terrible. Terrible. They didn't even put Jordynne's sirens in the beginning of this. The NXT chant was calling for them to be unemployed. They were chanting during the match. The Rubes, Alex. Even the Rubes were calling.
Even the Rubes were calling. If the Rubes have given up, it's over.
Man.
Yeah.
Bad 90s Jones over here on the Def Rebel side of things.
You can't, man. At least if you're gonna get rid of the sirens, at least you got to have her say in her own voice, "Sirens," before the music starts.
Insert sirens.
It's just Jordynne Grace doing this. Woo, 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 in her own voice.
I don't know how you watch Royal Rumble this year. Well, I don't know how you watch Royal Rumble this year and are like, you know what? We can't have Alexa Bliss back on TV until after Mania. But I also don't understand how you watch Royal Rumble this year and are like, we got to keep these guys employed and not immediately get rid of them. Because they ruined Royal Rumble. Nobody recognized anybody's themes at all. Like, they recognized Joe Hendry's theme because 90% of his presentation is his theme. Like, it's a very big part of what he does. Alexa's they did. Nikki's they did. Do you know why? Because Def Rebel didn't write any of that shit. None of those. part of the reason that the pop was there is because they are identifiable with the talent, and those talent were people that others were very excited to see. But nobody else has an identifiable theme. I don't care how many times you pay Adam Jones from Tool to like overlay some guitar on top of 4 other bad chords. Like, it's not going to help enough.
They're announcing that they paid him $1.
I know. I was like, that's not like funny though. Like, I don't get what the joke was, but okay.
I guess that he loves WWE so much that he'll agree to do it for nothing.
Yeah, I just like
Adam Jones, you need to have more self-respect than that.
Adam Jones, more like less self-respect Jones over here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I guess I just don't find it funny when wrestling companies are like, look at how over we are. We have billionaire dads that started all this. Like, I just don't, not like, oh, cool. People are such fans that you choose not to respect them as artists. I don't find it like, I'm not like, haha, you take advantage of that. How funny. But I didn't get it. It was not, I didn't laugh.
No.
These themes are terrible, Alex.
Terrible.
Awful.
Yes. So
they hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
It's a personal attack on me.
So Lola Vice versus Jordynne Grace is the final.
She's a Latina, don't you know?
Well, if I was unsure of that fact, she will inform me before she puts a butt in somebody's face. My favorite part of tonight was Joel Pearl realizing for the first time that's what she does every time she does that match.
I was like, have you watched the show, dude?
She's been doing that since she started.
I wasn't going to bring it up, but since you did, I'm going to shoot on Joel Pearl, okay?
He needs to be shot upon.
Let me pull up the exact tweet. Joel Pearl. I'm sorry. She shouts, I'm a Latina, and then does a corner hip ass attack. Come on, man. And I replied, did you just learn this? And he said, I speedrun NXT 99% of the time, Kate. I happen to have time tonight. And I said, well, to catch you up to speed, yes, literally every time, LMAO. I don't... Joel Pearl. Listen. Normally, I respect phoning it in and doing the bare minimum and getting paid. I'm a huge proponent of that, in fact. If you can do the bare minimum and get paid, I recommend it 100% of the time. Mm-hmm. But she's been doing this since she weirdly turned face in that extremely emotional promo, at least. Which was months ago. Yeah. So Joel Pearl, a year ago, where have you been? Because we've been on the grind for the past year, Alex. We've been paying attention. We've been taking notes. This is the morning show that you bring to the people. I know what Jeremy Lambert's doing, okay? And he's got to match that energy.
I love that some of our most loyal viewers never watch the show that we review, ever.
It's incredible.
It's just the best.
For super chats that don't watch the show. It's unreal.
Oh, it's just the best. I'm telling you.
Absolutely. Rules.
Jordynne Grace gets the victory over the allegedly a Latina Lola Vice. I mean, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? Take her word for it? Listen, I you know what I mean? So that's hearsay.
Her saying it has not caused us to do anything but question it. Why are you going out of your way to tell us?
That is hearsay.
That's too much.
That is hearsay, or as Beast Mortos would call it in a court of law.
Exactly.
So I really like Lola Vice. I honestly do. I think she's very talented. I That's the one thing about her presentation that I would get rid of,
Yes.
is relying so much on that part. Like I honestly thought they were getting away from it back in the Shayna Baszler feud, where she was like, if you would just stop all the dancing and ass shaking, you'd be a really great fighter. And Lola Vice is like, no, I can do both. And I thought they were gonna like have Shayna like show her, well, yeah, that's the problem. That's why I beat you. Because you were doing, if you actually drop all of that other shit, then you'd be able to beat me. And then she did. And then she would beat Shayna. But they just said, no. She's shaking her ass is too important. It's too important to her overall sense of worth. So we have to keep that.
I agree with you, and I thought this match with Jordynne was one of the better ones of the night. It also had the right booking decision. No offense to Lola Vice. Jordynne needs to win the whole thing, so her advancing was very important to me in an episode where I felt like a lot of surprise people moved on, which I don't necessarily hate, but they're going to need a ring. The crop of women going into this 4-way needs a ring general. And right now it feels like NXT has 2. They have Jordynne Grace and they have Blake Monroe, who just showed up. So it's very important that she's in that match. I didn't realize how like close they were in size, kind of. Like Jordynne's obviously got like tree trunks for legs. God bless her.
Yeah.
But like they're pretty close in size. And I think Lola's really great. What you said about Shayna bringing out the fighter in her, I'm glad that part's at least kind of stuck around, because that was also at the forefront with her and Jada. And I feel like it kind of separates her from the pack of like, she feels more like a fighter than a lot of the other women from that generation do in a sense. And I agree. I wish they would drop the weird announcement of her being Latina right before she hip checked someone. Because I think the special thing about her is that she feels more like a fighter than like a, look how athletic Kehlani Jordynne is or Sol Ruka is. Like, she has a special sauce to her. So I would like for them to lean into that more as well. But I thought she looked really good in this match with Jordynne Grace, because I think Jordynne Grace was like, I pick up what you put down. I know how to tango with you, young lady. So I had a lot of fun with this match. This was one of my high points of the night.
So yeah, Lola went for a knockout kick, and Jordynne countered it with a stretch muffler suplex that looked really cool. And then she had the Juggernaut driver, got the victory.
People need to talk about Jordynne Grace's suplexes more. Yeah, they're works of art.
she's really friggin' good. She's really friggin' good. So we have a fatal 4-way, and the winner of that match faces JC Jane, ostensibly in at Evolution. So the next thing on the show tonight, there's a Noam Dar vignette about how only the very greatest wrestlers have held the Heritage Cup, and they show Lexis King, and I laughed out loud. I did this when they were showing like he says only the greatest wrestlers in the world have held this cup, and they're like Tyler Bate, Nathan Frazier, Lexis King, and I went because that's friggin' hilarious.
They don't even pretend he is. You know what I mean?
No. So he's only the greatest wrestlers can hold this, and there's a Stax has a match against him next week, and I don't think Stax is winning because Tony D, but also I wouldn't call Stax one of the greatest wrestlers in the world. He's fine. There's nothing wrong with him, but he doesn't have that kind of pedigree to him. So It is weird that like only the greatest wrestlers win it.
It's a workers' cup. Like, it's a device for in-ring workers, which is why I'm a nerd for it.
Yeah. Anyway, the next thing is actually in the show is Blake Monroe, her contract signing. And the first thing is she talks about people who have been gushing over her. And then she says, there's a lot of talent in the back I'd love to get into bed with, if you know what I mean. I was like, they don't allow that stuff here, Mariah. You signed with the wrong company if you want to do that kind of angle that you were doing back. They don't do that here. They're very against that here. They haven't yet mentioned Pride this month. So this is not the place. So she's like, this women's division belongs to me. I don't remember her doing this cadence in AEW. I mean, it wasn't the same character, but like this way of talking.
See, Kyler said that too, and I didn't feel like she changed it, but maybe I'm wrong.
Feels to me like they have told her when to pause during her scripted promo. And I'm like, I don't feel like that works for anybody, but especially not for this character. Anyway, she signs her contract with her own pen that has a little pink poof ball on the top. And
it was giving Cher from Clueless for sure.
The glamour thing to me screams like glamorous, and the pink poof ball on the top of the pink pen says Barbie, and those are not the same thing, but in WWE they are, right? Like there's a difference between being cutesy and glamorous, and to me you could be one without trying to like squeeze both into the same thing.
I was disappointed by a lot of this. Unfortunately. I feel like
you didn't read as something like what I thought they would do with her. So
I didn't like it at all. Like the get into bed with line felt like it was out of the Toni Storm playbook. Like that didn't feel original at all. And
she winked at the camera. I almost thought it was like a nod to like where she came from. And I hope they then get away from it. She doesn't have to do it again, because that doesn't have to be what this character is.
I would prefer it be that, because I'm not in the camp of like, oh, she's Temu Toni Storm or whatever the hell people have been saying. I don't buy that at all. But that was a Toni Storm line. So if it was a nod to her, that's great. Like if you want to, Cody does like the little Young Bucks hand gesture sometimes when he wins. Like I don't mind that type of stuff at all. But for an establishing promo, like her entrance was good. It didn't feel like the audio was very high tonight, because it didn't feel like anybody was getting reactions, but like I was expecting kind of something more uproarious for her reception. And I don't feel like she really told us who she is. She said like, everyone knows it's been my lifelong dream or whatever, which plays into the online aspect. But I felt like, considering she was brought in like the Eagle's nest, looking over the field of competition, compared to what we got this week, those two things just seemed very disconnected to me. Very, very disconnected to me. So I didn't love it. And then I just didn't feel like enough was said about who she is, what she's here to do. And I get that she was more there to sign a contract, but it just didn't click. And then when we had Fatal Influence come out, rather. I do that all the time. What I really don't get is like, there's not a rush to get her into programs. So why you're making her look weak on a go home angle when they're not going home to anything is completely backwards to me. I didn't understand that at all.
I'm saying, Kate, because Fatal Influence comes out, JC Jane says that Ava's kissing the newbie's ass, and we never got a championship celebration. When Tiffany won the North American Championship, she never got one. I just won the world title. You can give me a celebration. I don't get treatment like this. He says, I've seen a lot of them come and go, and I'm like, You mean Julia and Stephanie, who came here and were gone in months, and you've been here for 4 years? Like, I'm not
Well,
saying,
I
I mean,
like
like that is the thing that I thought Mariah was going to say back. Like, oh, you mean all these other women who came here and then got to the main roster in a couple of months? But meanwhile,
before
you've been
you
stuck
did.
here for 4 years? Honey, that's because they're better than you, just like me. Like, I thought she was going to do that because, again, she reads 100% like a heel to me. And you can do heel for the title, but then you got to stick to what is her obvious thing here, which is that she thinks she's better than everybody, and that makes her a heel. But she instead, she called her the flavor of the month, and she does the Sabrina Carpenter. Have you ever tried this one?
This one?
But instead of a sex position, it's, I guess, the flavor of the slap in the face. And then she fights Fallon and knocks down Fallon with a few elbows, but stands there for a few seconds with her back turned to JC and Jasmine, who then attack her and they put her through the table. And JC Jane has a title match against not Mariah May, against one of the other 4 women at Evolution, unless she doesn't.
I was gonna say, do you think she takes someone out?
No.
Like Mariah takes somebody out to enter the 4-way
No.
and then just wins?
No, I think there are 2 options. She's either added to the Fatal 4-way, make it a Fatal 5-way, and she wins. Or, and this is the one I think they're going to do, I think it's JC Jane versus Mariah May one-on-one at Great American Bash. And the winner of that gets the winner of the Fatal 4-way next week. And the winner of that meaning the JC Jane and Mariah May match, is Mariah May. I think Blake Monroe beats JC Jane at Great American Bash, and then she goes on to face Jordynne Grace at Evolution, and she beats Jordynne Grace. And then Jordynne Grace goes to the main roster. Because I do not believe we're getting Jordynne Grace losing to JC Jane, but I absolutely believe we're getting Jordynne Grace losing to Mariah May. And Jordynne Grace, as we've all said, was given a main roster money contract when she signed with NXT. So she's going to the main roster. That is what I think. So it's going on back-to-back days, one in the afternoon. Mariah May's first match in NXT is opposite All In versus JC Jane, winning the world title on Great. I know it's super corny, but that's why they're doing it, because they're a very corny company. So you would do it there to try and siphon some viewers, at least during her match. And then you have her win, which gains a lot of like, oh, that's buzz. That's big buzz that she won her title in her first match. People who are watching All In would text them and say, oh, hey, did you hear Mariah May won her first match? And then to capitalize on that, you have her defend the title against Jordynne Grace the following night at Evolution.
Sure. That's a really dirty thing to do to JC.
Of course, yeah, but she was always a transitional champion. You signed up for this shit.
Sure. But like, even that, like, Blake Monroe's not going to go through the rest of the faction. You know what I mean? Like, this all just feels like a mess.
I would much rather have her lose the title to JC Jane JC Jane lose the title to Blake Monroe in a match. Blake Monroe's first match. It's a big deal. They're trying to make that into a big deal. That makes sense to me why they would do that. I would much have her do that than like beat Jordynne Grace because of the numbers game and artificially extend her reign another 2 months, when we all know she's not really. They don't really have plans for her to be a champion. They have plans for her to be the bridge between Stephanie Vaquer and Blake Monroe.
Yeah.
Like, that's what the plan is. And when they told you you're going to be the champion, they also presumably told her you're going to be champion for a shorter amount of time than
a minute. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's part of it. Like, sometimes that is what happens. They tell you we're going to put the title on you. Hold on, don't get too excited.
For a minute.
Sometimes that's a thing that happens. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I mean, it's very possible they do Blake versus Jasmine or Fallon in the next 3 weeks. I think that would be a mistake. I think it would be a mistake to do that simply because you can tout it as her first match in WWE.
That feels like the right move. Like I feel like she has to show up and be a big deal immediately. Like they need to present her with the same level that AEW treated Mercedes with. I feel like maybe not like undefeated for a year, but like showing up and making a difference. In that way. So I don't disagree with you. I just think that I think tonight was not very satisfying. Like from a standpoint of how she was presented. And a lot of people saw her intro and was like, OMG main roster now, but I just didn't think the promo was good. I don't think it accomplished enough. And I think it was really weird to have her go through a table this quickly when we're not going home to any one specific match yet. That's just weird. Like, why are you making her look bad?
Yeah, but the reason you're making her look bad is because you already have planned for her to get her lick back by beating JC Jane for the title.
Right, but my point is that's not next Tuesday. So why not let her have her moment here and then build that out? That's weird to me.
Because it's a contract signing. There's a table. You know what I mean? She doesn't have any friends. She can't counteract the numbers game.
Sure.
I just feel like your
big megastar shows up and your last shot of the night is her in a broken table is a bad idea, in my opinion. I think it's stupid.
I agree. Brandon Ellis says this was like the Ricky rollout beat for beat. The only difference was we had to wait until after he signed the contract to find out he was named Ricky Saints. Yeah. Let's do some puns. Oh wait, no, here we go. Jambeard says, "What happened? You're gone. Dusty, are you there? Oh no, Dusty's gone. He'll be back, right? Kate will be back. In the meantime, Jambeard asks, "What in the blue hell did CFO do to Jordynne Grace's music? No sirens is a Geneva Convention level war crime, and that is coming from a Canadian, where we think it's called the Geneva Suggestions." Thank you. And Jambeard also says, "How is it the WWE can see the AEW presentation to people and mostly do a good job of improving it of several people, but make Mariah May into a Sabrina Carpenter ripoff?" I don't know. They don't have any good ideas. They don't have any good ideas. That's why. I mean, I wish it was different, but Ryan Cicchini says, "I read the Blake Monroe theme is Diva era coded." I'm not up enough on the Gen Z lingo to know what Diva era coded is. So, I don't know. All right. Okay. Let's get some puns. Britney Spear. Not Britney Spears, but Britney Spear.
I like that very much.
Okay, good. Kate's back, everybody. Everyone was very concerned.
I'm back. My audio just got knocked out when I was fiddling. So
don't fiddle.
I know. I got a lot of cables going on over here, you know.
Taylor McMahon was adding one from last night when we were talking about the dungeon dolls, the crawl space cuties. Because we had basement
like that a lot.
Dungeon dolls, basement bras, lower level ladies, and now crawl space cuties.
That's right.
Orion Ben says King of Babyface Pop, Michael Oku.
They need to sign that guy.
Madelta and Sting.
Do you know the story with Sting and Sting?
You told me the story. You want to tell the people?
I'll tell the people.
Mhm.
Sting the wrestler pays Sting the musician, or Sting the musician pays Sting the wrestler $1 to license the name. Year after year after year. Because he wanted to keep ownership of it, but he wasn't trying to like make money off of it and prevent a musician from being able to use it. So every year, $1 gets paid to Sting.
I think that part of that should be that Tony Schiavone has to go on tour with Sting, the musician. And every time he comes out to start the show, he has to go, "It's Sting!"
And the police.
That'd be good. Yeah, I mean, who cares about that? Though? Alpha Bill says Christina Aguiguana.
Very nice. Very nice.
The back street fight boys from Jam Beard.
Nice.
Slavely says Serena Carpendieb. and Charlie Dempsey X. That's all I like that one. Charlie Dempsey X is good.
That's very good.
Jam Beard says Jushin Thunder Lake.
Tough year for that guy.
Just Ricardo says Tiger Driver 98 degrees.
That's really good.
Isn't that good?
That's a very specific cut. I like that a lot.
Orion Ben says Allie Albright and AJ, the Body Donnas, and Oba Jays. Not the OJs, but the Oba Jays.
Very nice.
See, Matthew Hook, Tom Cruise, Monet and the Beast, Captain Jack Perry. These are Disney puns.
Those aren't pop stars.
It's pop star puns, but I'll.
But thank you for your money.
They're very good, like money, like pop. Are you doing like popular culture? Because I believe that would. We're talking about like singers because it's such an obvious ripoff of Sabrina Carpenter. Teletric Mayhem says the BTF, which I didn't understand. But it sounds like, he says it sounded like he's explained it later. He said it sounded like, a pop star thing. Like what's the name of that Korean boy band? Something? I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
BTK, right? The BTK? It's BTK. But he's like, the BTF stands for butt to face. And I was like, good, sold, wonderful.
Well done.
There we go from Jambeard. It's Pink! BTS. BTK is nice. Bind, Torture, Kill. That's BTK is a serial killer. That's different. That's an entirely different thing. I apologize.
Korean boy band BTS had a song called Butter, I think. Slightly different. Slightly different
than the guy, the serial killer. Yes.
Smooth
that's my fault.
That's my fault.
Mike Schutt says the artist formerly known as Prince Nana. Janet
Very
Jack,
good.
Son of a Plumber. Hardy Boys to Men. Olivia Newton, Don Callis, and Barry Manilow.
Barry Manilow is very, very good. Shane Hayes says speaking of Olivia Newton-John, he has the Olivia Newton-Bomb power bomb. Great stuff.
Oh, very good. Everett Smith says Izzy Pop, Trick Daddy Williams, and the bastard Tupac.
Nice. I like that we're working him back in.
Meet Normus says InSync Kara. The violent Femis is amazing. Let me go on like a blister in the sun. Let me go on. Big hands, you know I'm the one. Yeah. And Sabuzi.
Very good. Very
Sabuzi. good. The suicidal, homicidal, genocidal madman. Sabuzi. Lieutenant Photo says Ariana Grande Americano.
Right there.
Mhm.
Right there. It's perfect.
Let's see here. Lieutenant Photo says Mariah Korea Ripley.
Very
and,
nice.
Jenny from the Brock.
That's really
Don't
good.
be fooled by the rocks that he got. He's still Jenny from the Brock.
Yes.
He's Jenny from the Brock.
Rock.
I'm gonna, Alan, I like this, but I'm gonna switch it up on you. Carry and crisscross. Carry and cross kind of loses the rhythm of it, but carry and crisscross is, I love the idea. Carry and crisscross is very, very good.
Small edit.
Mm-hmm.
We love it though.
Tatum Mayhem says the giant Lady Baba. Lady Baba, the giant Baba, fantastic. Meet Norma says Samoa Jodeci. Iron Shakira and Steely Danhausen. Oh my God. I need it now. I can't think of any Steely Dan songs to sing as Danhausen.
I mean, that's a jukebox request if I ever heard one. But
Steely Danhausen is an entire character where the only songs that Danhausen sings are Steely Dan songs.
It's just reeling in the years.
That's, yeah. Are you reeling in the years? My God. Okay, hold on. Chief Mayhem says John Moxley Eilish. Moxley Eilish, I get it. Harry Strongstyles and Bebe Riho.
I really like Harry Strongstyles. That's good.
All right. Rafael Garcia says Blake Maroon 5.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm. Norma says the Dungeon Cat Dolls. And Eminem XM.
Very nice. Very nice.
Oh, I like that. Bump. Dot dot do wump. Dibba dot dot doom bop. And I like this one too a lot from Dave Berman, Boys to Men.
Wow. Well done. Well done.
It's just them singing. The end of the road, but at the end of the road, they give you a Tongan death grip. Like that's the end of the road. The end of the road is the Tongan death grip. That's wonderful. Tito El Bandito versus Javier Mascarada. Watch the match As Good as Omega versus Kid. I wasn't aware this match was taking place. Where can I watch it?
Hell yeah. They're doing a show before Grand Slam tonight, right? That's the
Okay, I get it. Okay. Let's see here. Did I miss one? Oh wait. Jambeard says if WWE gets Sabrina to wrestle in a tag match with Mariah, not Blake Monroe, AEW needs to throw all the money at Chapel Rowan.
Well, you could do Chapel Rowan and Laney Reed.
Okay. Yeah, because everybody says they look alike. Yes, I get it. Okay, there are a bunch of these. I'm going to get rid of all the ones that don't actually are not thing. We got a Nya Girl set request.
We do.
Nya Girl sings the Beauty and the Beast song. MM plus BM. Heart Forever. He needs to change his name to the Beast Monet. He needs to take her last name if they get married.
I'm ready if you want to rock and roll with that to start us off.
Yeah, do that.
Tale as old as time, true as it can be. Barely even friends, and then somebody bends unexpectedly. Just a little change, small to say the least. Both a little scared, neither one prepared. Beauty and the Beast. Ever just the same, ever a surprise. Ever as before, and ever just as sure the sun will rise. Tale as old as time. Yeah.
Okay.
I also we did get one via Humper chat as well that I sent you.
Oh,
so
okay,
you know.
good. Okay. I need to find this. What is that? What? Okay. I guess I need to figure out what song that is. I don't know that song. Okay. All right. So the first one here, we got Tony D to sing "It's Raining Men" by the Weather Girls, but replace men with mooks. Humidity is rising. Rising. Barometer's getting low. How low, girl? According to all sources, what sources now? The street's the place to go. You better hurry up. Because tonight, for the first time, at just about 10:30, for the first time in history, it's going to start raining mooks. It's raining mooks. Hallelujah. It's raining mooks. Hey, mooks. I'm going to go out and let myself get absolutely soaking wet. It's raining mooks. Hallelujah. It's raining mooks. Every specimen mooks. Tall, block, dark and lean, rough and tough and strong and mean. It's raining mooks over here. Gabagoo.
Very nice. We also had one other chat that I sent you in the private chat.
Oh, okay. I gotta find it. Oh, here we go. Electric Mayhem says, caught up on last night's Raw review and wanted to add. First, forgot the one actual badass member of Raven's flock, Perry Saturn. Yes, that's true. He was part of Raven's flock for a while. Then he broke away from them, and then he went his own singles career, and they rewarded him by giving him Moppy to make out with.
Of course. Underrated wrestler.
Then I know it's an oxymoron and Kate's feelings on the term, and completely agree, but Phil is now officially CM Pop Punk.
That makes total sense, because if you know my feelings on the genre of pop punk, it is not that far off.
Yeah. Okay, so we got that one. That one's all done. And then I like this. So here we go. Dave Berman says Tom Petty and the Braun Breakers. Not the Heartbreakers, the Braun Breakers. Very good.
The Heartbreakers, as they were.
Jambeard says Danhausen to sing "Do It Again" by Steely Dan. It has been a long time since I tried to do my Danhausen, and honestly, the problem is that he hasn't been off TV for such a long time. It's not in my head. I'm gonna try and remember how to do the thing. So hold on. Do It Again. Lyrics. Okay. In the morning you go gunning for the man who stole your water, and you fire till he is done in, but they catch you at the border, and the mourners are all singing as they drag you by your feet, but the hangman isn't hanging, and they put you on the street. There you go back, Jack. Do it again. Wheel turning round and round. You go back, Jack. Do it again. I don't know. It's been too long since I've heard that guy talk.
It's not bad.
All right. Well, it's a first attempt. Wait, what's this? Nick Norma says Cardi Beware and Penta El Cerro Macklemore. Okay. All right. Oh wait, there was another one in here. What? Wait. We had sour chats from last night that I promised I would do. So, Kylie says, "Hi, hope you both are doing well. Is Miss Linda available to make future Kylie giggle? She's probably hot and annoyed working in that dumb warehouse." Hello, Kylie, it's me. You saw me earlier, so I'm going to say that counts. However, think of this as Aunt Linda tickling you. Giggle, 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 giggle. I hope I made you giggle.
I mean, if there's anything that you are, it's frequently hot and annoyed. So
all the time. I'm
relatable.
All the time I'm hot. In the winter I'm hot. So you know how to not it must be. I have the AC cranked to the gills.
That's it.
That's all you can do. What more can you do? You can't do
Nothing
anything.
more. There's nothing more.
Okay. And then Cyclo says, unfortunately, because I find entertainment out of seeing Alex suffer, could you and Kate please try to recap the entire Drew McIntyre versus Corbin and Madcap Moss feud, and also the spinoff of Madcap versus Corbin feud from that?
I wish I don't even remember. I blocked that out of my memory so hard. I just remember it went on for like 6 months.
Let's see.
There were dad jokes.
Let's see if Paul Pawlowski remembers it. I think it all started when Drew McIntyre stuck his sword in a desk, and then Madcap Moss and Happy Corbin stole the desk, and they somehow flew it across the country. And the sword was still in the desk. Remember how his sword was his mother? They didn't do a very good job of explaining that, but Drew McIntyre's sword was actually his mother. I don't know if he talked to it or whatever, if it gave him hugs, but his sword was his beloved mother, Angela. And God rest her soul, Angela. But anyway, her spirit was trapped in the sword, and he stabbed it in a desk, and then they stole it. And but he decided for some reason he wanted to get trapped in the bottom of the mid card for about 6 months. So he feuded with Happy Corbin, who used to be Sad Corbin, but then the thing about Sad Corbin is that he used to be the king of the ring, but then he lost his plastic crown. And they told us because he lost his plastic crown, his salary was reduced to such an amount that he couldn't pay his bills, and his house was repossessed, and his car was repossessed, and his wife left him. So he forgot how to button a shirt, and also how to shave his face, and also how to eat food. So his one shirt was misbuttoned and also always had stains on it. He started hitching rides in the back of production trucks to go from city to city. But then he won millions of dollars on the slots in Vegas. And let me tell you, they don't do that. They don't let you do that. You can't do that. They don't take kindly to you winning millions of dollars. And then he got himself a sidekick, Madcap Moss. He would tell terrible jokes and then laugh at him a lot. His finisher was called the punchline, but it didn't involve punching. It was a really dumb thing that they did with that guy, and then Drew McIntyre had to fight them both. But he fought Baron Corbin, and then after a while, Madcap Moss got tired of taking crap from Happy Corbin, so he fought him too. I don't know why. What? Okay,
that is unfortunately like an extremely accurate recount that was not really interfered with by anything that Papa Pawlowski took liberties with. That was just
tough. Yeah.
Like a documentary about that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Okay. So we got that one. We got this one. We got two of these back to back. Okay, here we go. Hello, everybody. It's me. It's Dusty. I got a couple of songs to sing to you. The first one from Rafael Garcia wants Dusty to rap "I Need Love" by LL Cool J. When I'm alone in my room, sometimes I stare at the wall, and in the back of my mind, I hear my conscience call, telling me I need a girl who's as sweet as a dove. For the first time in my life, I see I need love. There was giggling about the games that I had played with many hearts, and I'm not saying no names. Then the thought occurred. Teardrops made my eyes burn as I said to myself, look at what you've done to her. I can feel it inside, baby. I can't explain how it feels. All I know is that I'll never dish another raw deal, if you will. Playing make-believe, pretending that I'm true, holding in my laugh and saying that I love you, saving a more, kissing you on the ear, whispering I love you and I'll always be here. Although I often reminisce I can't believe that I found a desire for true love floating around, baby. Inside my soul, because my soul is cold. One half of me deserves to be this way till I'm old, but the other half needs affection and joy and the warmth that is created by a girl and a boy. I need love, daddy. I need love, baby. And that's hard times. There was one more we got via Humper Chat. Cohen 88. Cohen 81 wants the ghost of Dusty Rhodes. That's me doing Windrose Diggy Diggy Hole. It's one of those, the person, and the other one is the name of the song, because I am not familiar with so hold on. I'm just gonna type in Diggy
Cohen is
Diggy
the name
Hole.
of the person that sent it. Corwin is.
But is Windrose the name of the song, or Diggy Diggy Hole the name of the song? So I'm gonna get Diggy Diggy Hole. Diggy Diggy Hole by Windrose. There it is. I found it. Look at that. Look at that, Google. It always provides the answer.
It's so true.
This is so here we go. For you, Cohen 81. Brothers of the mind, rejoice. Swing, swing, swing with me. Raise your pick and raise your voice. Sing, sing, sing with me. Down and down into the deep. Who knows what we'll find beneath? Diamonds, rubies, gold, and more. Hidden in the mountain store. Born underground, suckled from a teeter stone. If you will. Raised in the dark, the safety of our mountain home. Skin made of iron, steel in our bones. To dig and dig makes us free. Come on, brothers, sing with me. I am a dwarf and I'm digging a hole. Diggy, diggy hole. Diggy, diggy hole. I'm a dwarf, baby. And I'm digging a hole. Diggy, diggy hole. Digging a hole. That's hard time.
That was beautiful.
Digging a hole as a dwarf, that's got to be hard times.
I would imagine so. There's Google in Wrestler Heaven.
There's Google in Wrestler Heaven.
Of course.
I mean, it's heaven Google. So it's better.
Sure.
The filters
more
are
accurate.
Better. The algorithms are better. But it's because it's heaven Google. Hold on. This is the last one. But it's not for me, it's for somebody else. It's for me.
Ricky!
Tom LaValle wants Ricky to sing Transform by Steam-Powered Giraffe. Can you make it go away? Can you make me right? Can you make the thoughts all stop so I can hold them out of sight? Am I naive for wanting something better? If we can't build peace, can we at least rebuild me? If you love me, I wouldn't have to wonder. I wouldn't have to blunder through this life. If you love me, I wouldn't have to run away. I wouldn't have to hide away through this life. If I could transform and change the way I am right now, I'd be exactly what you want to see. Thank you.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much.
That's it. I don't have any more. Written by a trans woman, says Tom LaValle.
Hell yeah, happy Pride.
Trans rights are human rights this month and all months.
That's very true, Ricky. We agree with that statement around these parts.
And if you don't, you can get the hell out.
That's that's correct.
Right.
Right.
Goodbye, everybody. See you next week.
Toodles.
Keep cool, Gobblegoos.